What's going on, my fellow farmer brothers and sisters? Alright, so got a new video coming out today, and it's not this. Today we're working on the 450, but I am going to do a video on this behemoth that's behind me very soon, so make sure you hit the notification bell to see what we brought home. And this is why I'm putting a supercharger on that Dodge Ram. So anyway, let's get to that 450. So here we go. Alright, let's come back inside where it's warm, because yeah, that's a biggie. That's like I said, there's a reason why I bought a supercharger for that 2008 Dodge Ram, and you're gonna see why. Lord help me. Anyway, I'm gonna spin this camera around and I'm gonna show you all the new parts that I have and what we're gonna get into today. So let's spin it. Alright, so today's video is the head on the 450. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drive out all these valve seats, Jesus, the valve guides. And once we get all this cleaned up, get the new valve guides in, we're going to go ahead and cut the seats. So we're going to have the 1 7/8 and 1 3/4 45-degree cutter. And then the 1 3/4 obviously is for the intake. And then we got the 1 7/8 for the exhaust. So yes, we're going to cut this puppy and make this head like new. I did get a whole bunch of parts from, oh my god, I got so many parts. Lord help me, where do I start? Alright, so before I start this whole video off, if anybody needs a wiring harness for a 450, this is a Brillman harness that it came from Steiner. It's a 2879. This is, if I can find where it is. Anyway, this is the harness for the 450 gas, and this actually goes to a generator. So if anybody needs a wiring harness and is running the 6-volt generator, I have one brand new in the bag, and I figure I'll let it go for the low price of 300 bucks. So that's going to save you $50 on that harness, and it's going to save, well, I can't already say it's going to save you shipping. You know what? I'll sell it to you guys for $275. If somebody wants it for $275, it's yours. And then you just pay shipping to get it to you. That's going to save you money. So there you go. That'll help you out. Just remind me in my email, 7valleysfarmalls@gmail.com. First come, first serve. Whoever needs that wiring harness, let me know. I don't need it. The reason being is because if you just seen the previous video, I did stop by Brillman's the other day, and I picked up the harness that I need for the 450, which is going to be doing the 1-wire alternator. So I don't need that other harness. The diesel is a totally different harness. So I'll throw it on the shelf if it don't sell. It really don't matter to me. But I figure if somebody could use it, I'll help you out and give you a deal on it. So anyway, so we do have, oh here, you know what? Let me take you over here. I'm going to make you guys sick as hell. So the valves actually are original IH valves. I was actually kind of surprised. They did get a little beat up, as you see. See where that little ring right there? Right there. See how that's worn in? Yeah, it's got a decent seal, but let's just say that valve's beat up. So it's time for that exhaust valve to go. The intakes, I believe, I cleaned some up, and they actually had the IH stamps on them still. There we go. Yeah, I cleaned them up with the wire wheel, so they're original. They actually don't look that bad. They actually worn pretty well. But regardless, I'm replacing everything. Now, when you do take these off, you got to make sure that you put the roto caps back in place of the exhaust, because it's made to raise, spin, and help keep those valves cool, which is why they put those on there. The intakes didn't use them, just the exhaust used them. Anyway, so let's go back over here. So I got all the valve guides. They got the PC seals. I'm not really a big fan of these. They no matter if you push them in, push them down, put whatever, they still seem like they always pop off. I never have luck with them staying on. I like when a lot of times when the valve guides are actually grooved for PC seals, so when they go down and they snap on, they stay on. But when you try to push them down, you got to make sure you don't have no oil on these. And if you do have any oil and that valve starts going up and down, it just pops them right off. I'm not a big fan of them. I'm probably not going to use these, honestly. They're kind of, to me, pointless if this isn't cut for them. But anyway, so here's all the new valves and all for it. So we're going to go ahead and cut the seats and lap these and put these in. Now, I am going to do the same trick that I usually do when it comes to knocking these valve guides out of here. All you do is you take a bolt and you go ahead and make sure it fits in there nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here like this. Then I'm going to use the impact hammer and I'm going to go ahead and drive that right on out of there. So much easier that way instead of trying to beat it out by hand. And what I also do is I put this on the grinder. I cut around this edge right here so that way it doesn't get stuck inside the guide. I round off the edges a little bit because you want to make sure it can pass through without it tearing up your walls on the inside. And also I run a wire wheel around here and I'm going to put a little oil on it, and that helps it actually slide back out once you run that through. So that's what we're going to do to this. Got all the new rings. I got all the new bearings. Believe it or not, I did one of these actually obliterate it when I took it off. So it was literally being held together by the bolt, and you can see a lot of them have a hairline crack through these. I'm not going to reuse these. I'm actually going to go ahead and put star washers on. So that's what we're going to put on here. Now also all the tabs. Some of these were bent over, as you saw in the other video. Some they didn't bend over, which is why they backed off by hand. But you can see how they're all breaking. They want $10 a piece for these things to replace these. And you need 8 of them. I ain't paying $10 a piece for 8 of them. I went ahead and just took the plasma cutter and made a template and cut them out myself. So, same gauge steel. I don't know what the steel is. I have to take a look at it again. But easy enough. Drill the hole for the 7/16 and then plasma cutter. And then I can put this in now. Just like... This is so hard doing this with one hand. Put that in like that. Draw that down. Bend that tab over. And it's got a hold of it just like it's supposed to. Just like the original. So as you see, how the original goes in. Easy peasy. So if you want to save yourself some money, cut out your own. It makes life so much easier putting those in there. Anyway, alright, so that's it for that. So we do have all new parts for that. Oh my lord, I have so many parts. This is the wiring harness, and then the alternator bracket. And my wife, for Valentine's Day, got me the new battery box for the 450. And of course the one with the raised IH logo, so it looks good. Oh, somebody did notice this in one of my past videos, and they asked me what that was. I did order an aluminum radiator for the 300. I'm curious to try one to see how they work out. So I went ahead and I ordered that from eBay to go on the 300. I want to see how it works out. Anyway, alright, so let's get back to it. I ordered the proper steering wheel for the 450. That's the proper plastic 3-spoke. That has the power steering center button that goes in it, since the 450 does have power steering. So that'd be something going on. All new gaskets. Filter. Tune-up kit. Rings. Starter button. Gauges. Like I said, carburetor kit. I have a lot of stuff I'm getting ready to do to that 450, so there's going to be a lot of videos popping out right now because we're going to go ahead and rock and roll and get that thing together. So anyway, so yes, that's it for, well, I got more new parts than that, but that's the majority of the parts here. So I am going to go ahead and get this thing set up, and we're going to go ahead and get these valve guides all driven out of here. And then we're going to start cleaning this head up. I'm probably going to go ahead and throw this thing in the sandblaster and sandblast it all down and clean it up real nice. And then I'll get inside here, and the sandblaster should knock a lot of this carbon out, but I want to see if I can scrape it out by hand to keep it out of my media so it's not all blowing through the sandblast cabinet. So anyway, alright, well, let's get started. Alright, so I went ahead and I set the head up in here. Now, unfortunately, these were a little bit tighter than the air hammer can handle. I got them started, but I can't get them to press the rest of the way out. I'll try it one more time. It's pressing them, but it's pressing them slow. So, yeah, these are a little tight. So we're going to go back old school and hammer them out. There she is. Where are you at, you little shithead? Alright. And there she is. It's out. So, if you don't have access to a lathe and you can't go ahead and make yourself a punch that's actually made to fit this, to drive her in, a bolt will work just fine. So, for the Super A's, I actually lathed out a drive pin that actually fits inside. But for the 450s and all, I didn't make one. So, a bolt it is. Alright, well, now I only got 7 more to go. Yay. Alright, we are on the 3rd one. And it's just coming out slowly but surely. And there's another one. Alright, now I'm going to finish the last 7, and then I'll be back. Alright, and they are all out. As I say, a little bit more of a pain when you got to drive them out. I did have my other tool that I made up one time before to drive those out, so I used that the rest of the way. She worked. Bolt worked too, but that was actually a little easier. Kept my drift pin from sliding off all the time. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get all this carbon knocked off of here, just to get the flakes loosened off of it. And then spray this thing down with some brake cleaner, and then I'm going to toss it into the sandblast cabinet and go ahead and get her sandblasted. And then we'll come back over, clean up the bores where the valve guides go in, and then we're going to go ahead and press in those new valve guides. After that, we can start putting the valves in, cutting. Let me back this up just a little bit. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Put the valve guides in, go ahead and cut the seats, then put the valves in, then lap the valves, and then put the springs and all back in, and then we're good to go. There we go. That worked out much better when I slow it down. Alright, anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and then I'll jump back on here once I get it all sandblasted, and then we'll start reassembly. Alright, and the sandblasting is done, and she is all cleaned up and looking much, much, much better. So, now what I'll do is I'm going to check the deck and see how straight it is. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and brake clean it out a little bit. Just get some of the sandblasting dust and everything off of it. I did find a date code somebody stamped in here. There's their initials, KS 61504. So I'm guessing that this motor must have been possibly rebuilt in 04. If not, the head was done in 04. So anyway, well, at least something was done to it. But let's just say whatever dipshit put the rods in, they should have bent the keepers over to hold those bolts from backing loose. Because like I said, this engine could have literally been a ticking time bomb and grenaded and threw the rod right through the side of the block and destroyed the block. So like I'm actually glad that that number 2 was seized. Because if it wasn't, I would have never, well, I don't know if I would have ever tore the bottom of this thing apart or not. You know? No, I probably would have. Because I'm doing it to the 300 anyway. So I know the 300 runs good and all that. And I was just kicking around the idea if I want to re-ring it and put new bearings in it. But after seeing this, yep, I'm doing it. So anyway, well, that's going to be it for tonight. I guess the next video will be part 2 of taking care of putting the valve guides in. I'll show you the brushes that I use. Actually, I got them right here. That I use to run through. Actually, I thought I had them right here. Oh, they're all worn out. Where's all my new ones? Oh, here they are. So anyway, so I use a little flex hone. It's a little smaller flex hone. And I actually run this through the guide holes and then clean everything up. I have some worn ones that I keep usually. And the reason I keep the worn ones, if I can get that one back out, is, oh my lord, everything's sticking to the rag, Usually I'll run all through the bolt holes, and I'll clean all these up with it. I'll get in as far as I can to the water jackets, I'll clean all that up. These little brushes actually work excellent for all your small stuff. I mean, you can get in some really hard to reach areas and clean some stuff up. So anyway, same as the large ones, the dingleberry hones, but it's just the little small versions. You can get them in all kinds of different sizes, so pretty much whatever size you think you need, order them. They're cheap. They don't cost that much to get a hold of. I have a couple of them sitting in here. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's it for this video tonight. So I got the carburetor soaking in acetone. So that'll be a video of rebuilding that. And we are going to use the ruby red Cerakote to Cerakote that carburetor. Yeah, I got a lot going on right now. And then we're going to do a video of putting new bushings in to the shifters to take out that slop and then put in the kits and have a nice tight shifter. So that'll be a video. Lord have mercy, I got so many videos coming up. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, thanks for watching.